So we'll call this meeting to order at 6:01, meeting of the Holmes Hinley Royal Building Committee. We will have to defer the approval of the meeting minutes from the February 1st meeting. We'll take those up at our next meeting. I don't see any members of the public logged in. So I think we can.
There's no one.
Yeah. So we can jump over public comment. In terms of the chair's report, really the only item that I really want to report on, which is good news, which is that we. I'm sorry, Paul. Did you have something? I want to go back. Paul is here as a member of the public, so I don't want to skip over public comment if Paul had anything that he wanted to add. Or were you just listening in? Mr. Kunz? I guess just listening in. Chair's report. The good news is we got the third P&Z approval, which is for the Holmes project. So now we have all three of the schools have been reviewed and approved by P&Z, and subsumed in that is also approval of Architectural Review Board. So that's great. And now things can go into the town permitting process. I'm going to, from there, turn this over really to Laurel and to Dave Cravenzola and to the KG&D team to discuss the phase one designs, kind of walk us through those, because we need to take action on those so that they can be delivered to the state. We need to approve both the phase one plans and project manuals, as well as the professional cost estimates for the phase one electrical procurement. So with that, I'll turn it over to Laurel and Dave and the KG&D team. I guess before we do that, though, just real quickly, Laurel, you had sent language for a resolution. Do we need a formal written resolution, or is merely a vote by the committee as reflected in the minutes sufficient? That coupled with having signed the forms that were sent around showing, approval by the Board of Education and the building committee and the design team.
Typically, there is some sort of a motion where you vote to approve the project the bid documents and the cost estimate. And I think I gave you the revised project number. We did this last night at the Board of Ed. You could just use the same motion. I think I forwarded that to you as well.
Yeah, that's why we'll read that into the minutes and vote on that motion.
Yeah, and the Board of Ed also did it per school, so I'm not sure if you guys also want to do it the same way.
Yeah, we will do it. We will do it per school because they are three separate projects, three separate applications.
Okay, so if you'd like, I don't know if anybody's had a chance to take a look at the documents. I can share my screen and I can show you, just run through at least one of the drawings if that's what you want to do. Or
that'd probably be the easiest. I had a chance to look at them, but I think for the benefit of the committee, that would be, and also for the fact that it's recorded, that's going to be the best way to do it.
Okay, so let's see if I can work this now. So let us go to, I just happen to pull open Henley. Can you see Henley?
Not yet. We see just the Zoom.
I did this last time. I picked the wrong window. Let's see. Entire screen. Let's try entire screen. Share. I think that's what worked last time. Can you see it now?
Boom. There we go.
Okay, so this is Henley, and literally there are, I believe, 5 drawings. All the schools are basically the same as far as what is entailed, but really it's just what we're calling phase 1 electrical procurement, and it's consisting of basically electrical drawings. This is a riser diagram, and it's clearly identifying what parts and pieces we are trying to buy early. So there's one of these types of these sets of drawings. Here's a panel board schedule. So this is what you're buying. You're buying these panels with this circuitry. So there's similar information for each of the 3 school projects, and it's just a few pages long. So I don't know if you need any more than that of what it is that we are doing, which is we are merely trying to cut a purchase order to order the switchgear and get it in the queue, if you will, so that we can ensure that we have it in time. So with that, there's also a project manual. I do believe I have all the project manuals open. They're very, very similar, same technical spec sections. It's hard. I'm blocked at how many pages this is. I can't see how many pages this is, but they're all basically the same. Just to reiterate, we were planning to bid all the 3 schools together. Let's see. Let me just show you the form proposal real quick so you have an idea. So when we get the bids in, what we're planning on doing is awarding to one contractor all 3 schools, but you'll see that they're going to have to give us a price per school and then add it together. And then we give them some language down here with how to handle that. So that's the idea, is we're going to hire one bidder, one contractor for all 3 schools. But again, they'll get 3 separate contracts. So this project manual is pretty much the same for all the schools. There's a little bit of difference between Henley and the other 2, but very, very similar. And then each project has its own individual cost estimate. So I'm not sure where I put that. So again, I'm just grabbing Henley. They were all uploaded together with the folders. This one happens to be Henley, and it's just, oops, sorry, started in the middle there. And when we go up to the state, they want to know a breakout between what we're trying to buy now and what the rest of the project is. So we're anticipating the value of this to be, somewhere around 170,000 is what we're expecting just Henley to cost. So there's this cost estimate that is also included in your packet that has the breakout between phase 1 and phase 2. And then it has this is something that OSCGNR recognizes as well, are these uniform at cost estimates. So the building committee, would be approving the bid documents as well as the associated cost to go forward, to go up to the state.
And then what is it that the state does? Do they review and give authorization at that point, assuming everything's okay?
Yes,
Correct.
they have a checklist that they go through, we went through that today for another series of meetings. But they'll have a checklist that they're going to go through, and once every single thing is complete to their satisfaction, they will actually issue a letter authorizing us to bid. And until I physically see that letter, we are not going out to bid. So sometimes just the superintendent gets it, sometimes just the architect gets it. So whoever sees it first, make sure I see that letter, then we will go ahead and go out to bid. And that, I'm anticipating that to be about a week and a half away from our PCR meetings. It usually takes them a while to get the letter because somebody's out, they need a signature, they got to go through the whole process. And so I think that's really it as far as the documents. And I didn't know if anybody had any specific questions on the technical documents.
Laurel,
Does
the
sorry.
district have to, I'm sorry, does the district have to sign off on the cost sheets?
The only thing the district has to sign off is the ineligible cost worksheet, which I do not have showing up. It's the building committee doesn't really need to see that. It's just another form.
Okay.
And there's a place for the district to sign off or initial on page 2.
Okay.
So yeah, we just got to grab a few more signatures. There's a form that's been floating around that everybody's been signing. So the building committee chair, that's our last signature. Oh, I think I saw that. I just didn't see the date.
I signed that and sent that back to you as a PDF.
Okay, we just need the date filled in at the top, but we can take care of that. So yeah, we have that signature all set. And then we just need the local officials to be signing off also on this set of documents.
Let me jump in there with an update, because Lauren on our end has been in touch with the town, and Unfortunately, that's not going to happen probably before our PCR meetings because Mike, the building inspector, is away already on vacation and he won't be back until the 27th. Bob, the fire marshal, is out sick, won't be back until Tuesday. So some of those items will have to be pending. We trust that Kermit will still go through the PCR checklists with Kermit next week. And those will be open items we will need to get to him ASAP. We are still going to stop by the town tomorrow, get the signatures we can get, and we'll try again. I think we have some appointments set up for next week as well to get additional
Yeah, so
signatures as
he
they
should
come
be,
in.
yeah, again, to remind everybody, we've got our first PCR on Tuesday, and then we've got back-to-back all day on Wednesday. So he should still be willing to look at the rest of the documentation and just be waiting for those final signatures. We will not get a letter until they see the form with the signatures.
So, Laura and Travis, if there are any other signatures you need from me, you probably need to get those off me tomorrow if you can.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I sent an email to Kevin. I did not CC you on purpose. I didn't want to heckle you, but I'll just forward them to you as well.
And I think, Alan, all the forms, all those 9,000 forms that you've already filled out for our meetings today, they're applicable to the PCR
Yep,
phase
okay.
1.
So again,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, if anybody had any other questions about the drawings, I'm happy to.
The drawings or the cost estimate, right? I mean, Dave, did you get a chance to look? Dave Martin, did you get a chance to look at the cost estimate?
Yeah, I did, and the only thing I just would try to make sure is the cost estimate is basically breaking out the costs for phase 1, right? The costs for phase 2 are unchanged, right? We're approving tonight just the phase 1 portion of the cost, right?
Yes, you are only approving the phase 1 portion of the cost. That is true.
Okay, and we will get updated total cost numbers much later in, I guess, March and April when the final meetings go through.
Right. So we will come to you again, same process with another cost estimate. This time it'll be for phase 2, and you'll be approving just that portion before we go up to the state.
That's mid-March at the
Yes.
latest.
Yep. Yeah, I was putting my calendar up there. We have our first round of PCR meetings at the end of March, 28th, 29th, and then the last one is April 12th.
And that's for phase 2, and that would be then from there, that would give you the more full set of bid documents to be able to go out and bid the balance of the job.
Right. We're supposed to be ready. Technically, this set that goes before you, again, you and the Board of Ed, and what goes up to the state is supposed to be the final bid set.
Okay. Any
So just
other?
double confirming.
Jill.
Sorry, thank you, Chris. Double confirming, then we'll need to approve. The BOE will need to approve on March 28th. Ideally,
No, that is too late. I put that on there. That's your next scheduled meeting, but that's after our PCR meeting. So we want to back it up to somewhere the week prior to, unless you want to meet on a Monday.
Okay, so but from a scheduling perspective, BOE is every 2 weeks. So I think we're probably March 14th. Are we going to be ready on March 14th?
I don't think so, but I don't think taking off the week.
Because they have to look at final, we can't work on documents after that approval date? Is that the issue?
Technically, but.
So I guess Laurel, just to kind of boil it down, I know we're skipping around a little bit here on the agenda, but for you guys to be able to have enough time to get those documents done, are you suggesting that, this is just assuming it actually can happen, that BOE and the building committee should be shooting to meet and vote that week of the 20th of March?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe the Wednesday, if they can tackle on with you, or if they're used to Tuesdays, you guys tackle on with them. It can be virtual. It doesn't have to be in person.
Jill, are there other, I mean, the worry we have is that we get hung up on other important business that BOE has to take up. Is it possible to hold a special meeting just for this purpose and then have HHR join that meeting?
Let's
As a
talk about
matter of,
that offline. I have to
yeah,
figure that out. I mean, technically, yes, but we have quite a few meetings. It's a lot to.
right.
It's going to be probably important just moving forward, just that we try and stay anticipating schedules. Everybody gets, I don't think we'll be able to call special meetings all the time. We'll do what we have to do,
Okay.
but anyway, we'll do what we have to do, but.
I mean,
Well, then the
Laura,
other
you think-
question is kind of where Travis
that
was. I'm
special
sorry.
meeting, Laurel, that
Go ahead.
special meeting is really the last, that's really the last meeting that we would need, isn't it? Because after that, the only other thing that would come up was if there's some critical approval process for some critical trade contractors. But other than that, once we get the approvals for PCR, we're in good shape to go.
We're done with the Board of Ed. I'm not sure if they need to approve the GMP when we're there, but that's a ways away. We're done with the
I don't
Board of
believe-
Ed
yeah.
for the construction side of things, yes. This is the last meeting.
Okay, and so that is one more approval is required or two more approvals are required?
Well, this one more approval, again, I can't speak for Travis. He was gonna look. I don't know if they're gonna be ready with all three schools or because we have that extra time, 2 weeks in between for this last one, if we needed you guys to meet again, but this could be like I don't know if you're regularly on. No, you wouldn't be on the 4th.
No.
You might be on the 11th, right? Or April, no.
We're on the 12th. We're on the 12th.
Well,
You
but
guys-
that's,
Yeah, no, I know.
Well,
We
I
actually
know.
have break that
the
Building committee has a lot more
Board of Ed.
flexibility, right?
Right, the
So,
Board of Ed, though, do you have a meeting on the 11th, Jill?
no, not April 11th. We're on break that week.
Oh.
Yeah, so I only saw on the calendar, there's the 25th.
We're going to shoot to do it all in one meeting.
Okay.
Laurel, maybe we can talk to Kermit. I wonder, if we can just push that date. I wonder if he can do both of the schools on the one day.
Well, yeah, or back to back with one of these, this one.
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
mean,
then-
if we can use the 28th Board of Education meeting and
That
you
would be
can push
ideal.
off the PCR phase 2, HHR could join, unless Jill says otherwise, HHR could join Board of Education on the 28th and we could both approve.
Hey, Laurel, just thinking about what's gonna happen for the town approvals for the PCR. We're going next week, where we won't have them all in hand. What's the detriment of going to the meeting on the 28th saying, listen, we received building committee approval on these documents. The Board of Education is meeting tonight, and we will follow up with that paperwork after the 28th PCR and hold the meeting on the 28th and just tell them that the signatures that would come out of the Board of Ed meeting will be forthcoming.
I think we have a lot of people, there are probably more important things to talk about than the actual approval date, honestly, in terms of use of the committee time. Laurel and Dave, would you please, if you need help finding the schedules, please coordinate, figure out the right dates. BOE is not that flexible. We have a lot of approvals around the time, and get back to us with a proposal, and then we can go from there. The building committee is more flexible, but the Board of Ed is not particularly so. So if you would just set up specific dates when you need it, if we have to be flexible, we will. But I would like, a follow up by email, please, so we can just get this sorted.
Well, and just to add on to that, and if there is the possibility that what Dave suggested, that the state can change the order of things, that would be good for Jill to know in terms of coordinating with BOE.
Okay, so if we can so you guys could accommodate us on this project on the 28th then? That the regular Board of Ed meeting?
Well, that's a scheduled Board of Ed meeting, yes.
Right, okay, so that could be accommodated.
Otherwise, we
Right.
have one scheduled on the 15th.
I have a feeling we can make that work.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions from any committee members with regard to the Phase 1 PCR or the cost estimates? then what I'd like to do is do three separate, ask for three separate motions for us to vote on. I will start with Hindley. So the first motion I'd like to get is to approve the final plans and project manual as prepared for bidding dated February 3rd, 2023, and the professional cost estimate dated February 3rd, 2023 for Phase 1 electrical procurement for the Hindley Elementary School State Project number 035-0121EA.
Correct. That's correct.
Can I get a motion for that? Motion by
So
Dave
moved.
Martin, seconded by Jameson. All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
aye. Sarah?
Approve. I approve. Yes. Thank you.
Great. Second one is a motion to approve the final plans and project manual as prepared for bidding dated February 3rd, 2023, and the professional cost estimate dated February 3rd, 2023 for Phase 1 electrical procurement for the Holmes Elementary School State Project number 035-0122EA. Can I get that motion, please? Motion by Jameson, second by Dave Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. That's unanimous. Third motion is to approve the final plans and project manual as prepared for bidding dated February 3rd, 2023, and the professional cost estimate dated February 3rd, 2023 for Phase 1 electrical procurement for the Royal Elementary School State Project number 035-0123EA. Can I get that motion, please? Motion by Jameson, second by Dave Martin. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. So those are all approved. Those will be, Sarah, the text of those motions, if when you're doing the minutes, I will forward you that language specifically. Laurel had sent it to us for purposes of dropping it into the minutes.
And so the Board of Ed approval last night was conditional upon approval tonight. Thank you, Laurel, for coming. In case there were any questions, we appreciate your time. So given that the committee's approved, the Board of Ed approval will now be enacted.
Perfect. The only other thing that I had a quick question for Kevin Monrette. Have you heard anything, kind of give us a quick status on that last RFP that's in circulation for the commissioning agent?
Sure. The RFP went out. The town was very helpful in getting it posted to the website. And I believe we have next week set to open up the bids.
Okay.
I've already gotten a few emails of interest, which is positive.
Great. Good. All right. So then we can probably discuss that at our next meeting. That is all I had by way of official committee business. Anything, Jill, that you had?
No.
I can just update to let you know that we had our meetings today with Kermit for Holmes and Hindley. That went fine. We have our meeting with Royal tomorrow. This is a design development review.
Okay.
Meetings that we had. So we're just a little behind with that just because of their scheduling. So we were reviewing the permit set actually, because that's our latest set. So we're working on the paperwork required for that. So that's, I think, in a good place. And we are now jumping on the paperwork for the PCR meetings for Phase 1 next week. So I think there was one item in there that did come up, and I think regarding the priority list and the differences in cost and whether the roofing components were included on that. I think, Dave, for that question, you actually were not there. But I do know that we reviewed all this with Michelle. This was the deadlines early in December in order to incorporate all this onto these projects, including the language and the costs. So I didn't have a definitive answer for Kermit, but I just wanted to get back to him on that.
Yep. So Laurel and I did talk this afternoon. Sorry, I wasn't on the second meeting today. But if you recall, when we went for the reappropriation was for across the board, the 3 schools, for including the roofing work, and then for homes specifically for the Hoyt property, right?
That's right.
But we knew
Yes.
from the get-go we had some we had a budget shortfall on homes. And I think when the DD presentations were going, I think Travis, you and Eric had efficiently put a slide together that talked about what were those other budget drivers for that, and one of those was, the amount of square footage or the scope of that project actually increased more than what was originally contemplated during conceptual work. So that was
Correct.
that was always a shortcoming in the budget. And I recall conversations when we were going for that reassessment that we were still technically short, but that the shortcoming of that added scope we'd have to address that with the state separately. So right now, the fact that they're seeing estimates that are in excess of what was appropriated is in line with what we brought before them. It's just now we have to, we're likely going to have to make that adjustment with them and explain to them the drivers
Right.
for that.
Okay. And
So Michelle's going
was
to join
the
us at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
okay. And were the ed specs updated to reflect the roofing work?
See, I thought we had some conversations there, and
I didn't think they needed to be. I think we thought that they were broad enough as written,
Okay.
that they didn't need to be
because I think
updated.
it said roof work as necessary or something. There were some broad
Correct.
statements that we didn't
Okay.
have to
And
revise.
Michelle, I think Michelle was in agreement with that, I thought. Or I don't know if
Yes.
we ran that by Michelle. Okay.
That's correct.
Yes.
It was her preference that we leave
That's
the ed
right.
specs as they are. She read the language and felt that the roof language was broad enough.
Okay.
And
Thank you for that update. That that wasn't coming to me in the moment with Kermit. So it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But
Great.
like I said, I think the biggest thing is that the state, we have to have the discussion with them about how the initial appropriation, we were over that because of some scope drivers
Yeah.
from the initial grant application. Because what the deadline we were up against for that December change
Yeah.
really was centered around rolling in the roof work and the Hoyt property work into the project.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I had. So next meeting would be March the 1st. We'll get an agenda together for that. For those of you who are doing something fun for school break, enjoy. Could I get a motion to adjourn? Jill moves, Jameson seconds. All in favor? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Laurel, for your help on this.
No problem.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Good night,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye,
Good
guys.
night.